What's up, King Cats? Welcome back to my channel. It's GRWM Dunc here. Hope everyone's feeling beautiful and wonderful today. It's been a couple weeks since I uploaded a video. To be honest, I've just been stretched very thin, especially with the Arnold coming up, with the seminar coming up, everything like that. Also, for everyone that's been like, oh my god, are you competing at the Arnold? I know I pulled a fast one on y'all like 4 years ago, but if I tried to compete at the Arnold like this right now, I would lose. So, no, I'm not competing at the Arnold, but I do have a lot going on at the Arnold. Anyway, we're here for a bit. So I've just been stretched really thin, and like I wanted my next video to be the contest prep Q&A video, and I started filming it, but I just have not had the availability within my schedule, or quite frankly the energy, like after all of my like work is done for the day, to sit down and film like a sit down video. So my apologies on that, but that's just where my life's been at, you know, recently. But what we're gonna do today, because I was like, well, I should film something, but I've already filmed this workout, I think, and I don't like filming the same workout twice because I feel like that's boring. And you can only see a day in my life so many times. I mean, I guess not, because we've done that for the last like 5 years. But anyway, I figured a way to make this video a little bit more fun for you guys and for me. I think this will be really fun for me. Is I want to do a full day in my prepping life now versus 4 years ago when I prepped. So how I train, how I eat, what my actual day looks like, things like that. So hopefully that'll be pretty cool. There's a lot that's different about my life now, you know, in 2020 versus 2016 when I was, you know, living with my parents and I was still in university and all this stuff. So that's what we're going to do. So right now we're going to get into some training footage, and it'll be side by side with today's training versus 4 years ago training. So for those of you that have been around for a long time, this will be a nice trip down memory lane, but that's what we're going to do today. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. What's up, you guys? So we're here for a good old-fashioned Dunc voiceover. Man, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, I feel like, but getting into how my training is different from then versus now. Obviously, first of all, my style of training. I used to train, if you're new here, if you're not new, this will be a nice, again, trip down memory lane. We're just memory laning it all day long. But I used to train as a hybrid athlete, so I did a mixture of Olympic weightlifting, so snatch, clean, and jerk, and their variations, with some bodybuilding accessory work. That was my primary form of training. This was when I worked at a sport performance facility. That's where you'll see me training at in the clips on the left. And now I am much more specific with my training, as far as like within sport and training and everything, the concept of specificity and training for your specific sport. So now I train as a bodybuilder for performances of competition. So for one, again, this is more sport specific. Two, I have a lot better recovery. Also, I clearly still dance in between sets. That is clearly never changed. But it's more sport specific, better recovery. It's less stress on my nervous system. The Olympic lifts are very stressful for your nervous system. My joints don't hurt as much, so strength training and training purely for strength is very hard on your joints, just bearing those kinds of loads, the explosiveness of the movements, things like that. It is pretty joint hard, especially when you're in a dieted state and you don't have a lot of extra recovery available. But now I was able to effectively grow the tissues that I needed to grow. It's honestly been really cool, like looking back at these clips and seeing how much more dense my tissue is and how much more mature my tissue is compared to, you know, 4 years ago. And obviously there's a lot of time in between that 4 years. But I was just more effectively able to grow the areas that I needed to grow in order to be a successful competitor, which is what I wanted to do. I never really wanted to be a weightlifter. I just enjoyed weightlifting. And that's how I trained. Also, another big difference is the amount of time I spend per session. So with my Olympic lifting sessions, I would be in there for, you know, usually around 2 hours with everything. And that was before I had to do any kind of cardio or anything like that, because I would just do my cardio at home. And now my actual lifts, you know, take 60 to 75 minutes, much more efficient just all around. So that's kind of how training has changed over the years. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the voiceover. Hope you enjoyed the throwback to next level. And I'll see you in this next clip. I have no idea how this angle is, so we're just gonna figure it out together the hard way. But home from training, making my post-workout, and so I figured now would be a great time, because it's hot cereal time. Sorry, I don't want to spill it. To talk about how my diet is different this time. The primary thing with how my diet is different now versus my last prep, by this point in my last prep, I was basically, my only carbs were trace carbs from like vegetables. My fats were higher, and obviously my protein was high, but I like wasn't consuming like any carbohydrate. I felt pretty okay because I think having the fats higher obviously just calorically brought things up, but it made it really hard to maintain tissue, and I do think I lost a lot of tissue that prep. Also having carbs higher, and particularly keeping intra-workout carbohydrates in. I used to train completely fasted. Now, like, having intra-workout carbs and not training completely fasted, my training performance is better, which is going to help me retain more tissue. But yeah, having more carbohydrates. Like, I was looking through some of my old videos while I did my cardio, and I saw, if you've been around for a while, you'll remember this, how I used to make faux oatmeal, hold on, out of cauliflower puree. Excuse me? Insert Hannah Montana, everybody makes mistakes. Anyway, I thought about like doing a video at some point on like reacting to foods that I used to eat, like when I would be prepping, and like the weird creations, but I've decided I don't hate myself that much quite yet, so we're not doing that right now. But yeah, I eat a lot more carbohydrates now. My fats are lower, obviously, to account for calories, but I'm digging it. You guys know how much I love my oatmeal, so if I can keep that, I'm a happy kid.
You want to know what else is different? We have this angel bear now. Yes, we do. Oh, we have an angel bear now.
And we have a lot of plants. Look, I got a new plant. Actually, I got 4 new plants. So I finally got my Big Daddy Monstera, like a more mature one. And then we got this bird's nest fern, Kokedama. I still haven't even taken the tag off because I was so excited about it. And it's just wrapped in moss, so that's pretty dope. And then, where? Oh. And then I got this guy, and then I got this little air plant block. It's just literally wood because the air plants will like grow into the wood. I already had this one, and then this one's new, and then whoop, this new air plant. Yay. And then obviously another thing that is very different from 2016 and 2015 versus now is that I no longer live at home with my parents, and I'm also no longer in school. We'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I live on my own now. I've been on my own. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. Anyway, I hope you caught that reference, but I've lived on my own since, when did I move? May of 2016 was when I first moved to Louisville. So it'll be 4 years this year. That's pretty dope. But yeah, I don't live at home. Don't live with my parents, which also means that, and like obviously when I lived with my parents, I would like help out around the house and stuff, but I wasn't responsible for everything. And so now living on my own, I have an entire, you know, townhouse to maintain on my own on top of everything else. So that's just like another thing that's different. I don't know. But there's things that I miss about living at home. Mostly just like seeing my parents every day, but I would never give up my independence unless I absolutely had to. So it's another thing that's different. I'm gonna eat my food and then we'll continue chatting. All right, so I am fresh out of the shower, and this isn't directly related to prep whatsoever, but I figure, you know what? We're doing a then and now video. We're just going to talk about a lot of then and nows. And like this is something that I noticed when I was watching the videos back, but also this sweater is super old from H&M. It's like over 3 years old. I remember wearing this at the spokesmodel search when we went to the hockey game back in 2017. But anyway, something that's really different now compared to like when I was watching the videos back from my last prep series is like how I do my makeup. So I used to wear just like a lot of full glam like all the time. And I'll put some clips up of like what I would wear to like posing practice or just like wherever. Like full lash is like the whole nine, and that's super cool. I love a good full glam every now and again, but like I'm a lot lazier now, so I go for a much more natural glam look, especially for every day. So we're gonna walk through a little bit of that. Anyway, we're gonna start off with this Tula Face Filter Blurring and Moisturizing Primer. So this is actually, first of all, we are partnering up again. I know we partnered up a few years ago, and we touched base again this past year, and I was like, I would like to partner again just because like you've got some really great new products, and like I've been using their stuff a lot lately. So we are gonna be partnering up again. So I will be talking more about like my current skincare routine. Sorry, this is giving me a hard time, but I'll be talking more about my current skincare routine here soon. Because I've been using a lot of their stuff again, but this is their blurring primer. It's almost like, it has the feel of like a silicone-y kind of primer, but it's not, there's no like silicone based ingredients in it. It actually feels kind of nice. It looked like it had like a little bit of a slight sheen to it. Like I could honestly wear this by itself and feel pretty good. Ooh. So it is a little bit more of a grippy primer. Also, I guess if we're partnering together, I should let you know the code MDUNC will get you 15% off if you want to try anything. If you want to know like some of my favorites, I'm happy to cover that in another video. But since I was getting ready, I just figured I would show you what I use when I'm getting ready. Another thing that I love from them is this Rose Glow and Get It eye balm. So actually multi-purpose. So it's an eye balm. So you just kind of like obviously put it under your eyes, but because there is a little bit of glow in it, obviously like this will get covered up when I put makeup on. But if I'm doing like just no makeup one day, but I want a little bit of a nice like pop to my little cheekbones, then I'll just pop that on. You can see there's a nice little bit of sheen, but it's just nice and cooling. But yeah, those are a couple of the Tula products that I've been using lately. And again, code MDUNC on those. But as far as makeup goes, I am much more into just like natural looking makeup. No makeup, like true no makeup. I mean, not true, because if it was true no makeup, there would be no makeup. Obviously. But we're gonna get into this. So this is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer, the Natural Skin Perfector. This is the Radiant one, I believe. This is the shade Tawny. And then I am gonna mix this. I love a good foundation mix. I'm gonna mix this with a little bit of the Bite Changemaker foundation with that. I have just been loving it like a lot. And this is M75. So I'm literally just gonna take this and like rub it on my hands, between my fingers. My hands are clean. Everybody's hands should be clean with all this junk going around these days, which is very unsettling. I'll go over some of the areas with a brush, but then I'm gonna get a little bit just to like take onto my neck slightly, not a ton, basically just to blend it into my jawline. But I am wearing like a mock neck, so I don't really need a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think that I used to do full glam because I was super insecure and like wanted to cover myself up. But I'm not 100% sure. I mean, like this time, you know, what in the world, 4 years ago, man, a little over 4 years ago was when I was really starting to get into makeup. And I just like was having a lot of fun with it. And like full coverage glam was just a lot more popular back then. So that's what I would do. Like even when I would go to school sometimes, and it was just, or like I would always have like full glam, and like if I wasn't wearing fake lashes, I had lash extensions. Like another thing that I don't know how I dealt with was like I had talons. Like I always had long nails, and like they are my own nails just with gel or shellac or whatever on them. But like I have no clue how I tolerated that, because now they get even the slightest bit long and I'm just like, get this off. And it drives me crazy. So that's different. But like, see how this just looks like my skin? I like that because I like my skin, and I've worked for a really long time to like my skin. Now I'm just gonna take this Tatcha, what is this called? Well, I don't, Underlight and Eye Treatment in the shade Candlelight. And I'm actually just gonna put this on my eyelids to kind of even out the tone there. Instead of putting like a super light concealer on it or anything like that, it just gives like a nice little bit of coverage to that eyelid, especially like my eyelids are super pale. and light and like veiny. So just putting some of that on there and kind of blending it out. I like that a little bit better, and it looks really nice when there's a little bit of shadow on there too. And then I'm just gonna take some of my Becca, God, this stuff has changed my life, the under eye brightening corrector, and just popping that under my eyes. I'm not gonna fully blend it yet because I'll pop on a little bit of concealer. And then some of this Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. I also do a lot less coverage in terms of concealer these days. Like instead of doing like the full, like, also haven't used Shape Tape since God knows when. It was just too full coverage, like too much. I've just gotten to a point in my life where like, I don't have time for that. Or the desire. This is really nice. I feel like I haven't just like sat down and chatted with you guys in a hot second. I mean, we're not really like chatting about anything, but we're just chatting. So I'm just blending this in. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that like I was super insecure or anything, but like, and I don't think makeup and wearing it inherently makes you insecure regardless of the coverage, regardless of how much. I don't think you're like lying to people. Men like to say that women are lying, and I'm like, y'all lying about everything else. I said what I said. I think something that is like a big deal for me and for a lot of women is when I got to the point where I was like, okay, I want to wear makeup and I enjoy it, and I want to wear it because I enjoy it, and it's like an artistic thing for me, but I don't have to. Like, I'm fully comfortable going to the gym without makeup on. Like, honestly, now if I wear makeup to the gym, I literally feel like I'm suffocating. It's this really weird thing. It gives me this weird, like, I feel like my face is trapped kind of a thing, like anyone else. But yeah, just getting to a place where I'm comfortable with myself both ways has been really, really nice. But sometimes it is nice to just like have a little something on, you know? This is just the Nude Sticks Bondi Bay stick. I just do this for like a little bit of bronzing to bring a little life into my face. Also, is this still going? Oh yeah, it's still going. Okay. I literally just used my my mirror to check the screen because this camera doesn't have a flip up screen. And on like a more serious note, something that is, sorry, I'm like looking around in here for product, but something that is definitely different this prep versus preps past is just like how much I share and how much I just don't care. We love a good poem, but in the past I shared a lot about what I was doing, like in a very exact way, like, you know, this is this and this is that and da 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 da. And now I'm just a lot more private. I'm a lot more private in general now, for a lot of reasons. I mean, I learned a lot when I was going through my last, not my last, but 2 breakups ago with like the relationship that was super public. This is just a little bit of NARS blush. This is Luster. But just like how much that sucked and like how, I don't mean this in a negative way, but how nosy people were about the breakup, about details, about this, about that. And I know that like that was a relationship that I really put out there, but like that whole experience made me realize like, I mean, it's hard for someone to ask about something that you don't put out there. So if like I don't enjoy being asked about something, don't put it out there. And it of course cut me off while I was finishing things up and I didn't realize it. But yeah, one of the influencers that I followed for a really long time, Samantha Ravindal, she put it really, really well. She's like, she said something to the effect of, I'm really mindful of what ammunition I give people. And it sounds really pessimistic to say this, but online, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of the internet. So I'm just a lot more private, and that's been great for me and my own mental health. And maybe, sorry, I'm like digging around for lipstick, and maybe it makes me less of a good influencer. I don't know. But I also hope that like my influence is never just about like my life, and that it's about something you know, bigger than that and more important than that. Not that my life isn't important, but like, I hope you know what I mean. And that what I do share is valuable and helpful and all that stuff. Why can't I find a lip color that I want to wear? It's because all the lip colors that I wear are downstairs in my purse. Because I never take them out. Because this is going to be so, so dark. That's way too dark. What is this? That's really dark. What is this? That's really pink. Ugh. Can I put something more bronzy? Yeah. I don't really. My perfect gloss is down. Is it downstairs? Or did I bring it up here? No, did I not? Oh, I did. Oh, God bless America. Land that I love. Literally just. Good Lord. My Lila BB Elegant Lip Oil. God bless. There it is. That's what we needed. It's just like a like your lips but better kind of situation. So there's a conversation that I was not expecting to have in this video, but here we are. Also, while I'm in here, if you've been around for a long time, you remember the little Wonder Woman mentality trophy cup. This little Wonder Woman crown is from my costume that I wore at the Monster Mash back in 2014. Wow, we're just going down all sorts of memory lanes. But I literally have like little motivational phrases in here that I would like, a lot of my old videos, like I would take one out and like read it and talk about it. So we're just gonna like take one out today. So this one is from January 6th, 2015. It's a long time ago. That's literally 5 years ago. If I can still do math. Questionable. Wow. People will talk, let them. They have no idea who you are, where you've been, what you've gone through, or why you're here. This isn't about them anyways. This is about you and Jesus. This was back when I was super religious. Stay the course. Never let a hateful heart cause you to stray from your path. While I may not be super religious anymore, I think this still stands. So that has been our little chat. I'm gonna go do some more work and take this off. Hopefully you enjoyed this little sit down conversation that we just had. Okay. Okay. Wow, this is a lot of gray. A lot of gray, Bear. You wanna come up here? You wanna come up? Come here. Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna start wrapping this video up, aka I'm gonna sit here and talk for like 10 minutes. But I figured I would just do a little sit down chat about some of the things that are different. One thing that's not different is Ari and I are still friends. That's who texted me. But we're gonna talk about some of the other things that have changed over the years. I took some notes on my phone just to try and keep it as concise as possible. Something that's really big that's different that I wanted to make note of is my morning routine. So I was going back through videos and I remember stumbling across one where I literally was like, yeah, in the morning I get up and I like read my devotional while I'm going to the bathroom. So I just keep it in the bathroom and that whole thing. And then I get my coffee and then I sit and scroll social media. And like I would literally drink my coffee. I remember this. I would lay in bed, drink my coffee and scroll social media for like an hour. I cannot imagine doing that now. Oh my God. Now what I do is I get up, I take care of Luna, like get her all situated and everything. I drink my water, take my supplements, and then I have my coffee, and then I do my daily stoic, and by do I mean read. So this is like the daily devotional type book that I read now. And then I go in here and I write my 5-item gratitude list for the day. So something that I've been doing is I literally every single day, I have a spot in my bullet journal to do this. But I write 5 things that I'm grateful for at the beginning of each and every day. and then I will sit and read while I drink my coffee. So right now I'm currently reading The Nordic Theory of Everything in Search of a Better Life. And I think that just sitting and reading and having my quiet time in the morning before getting into like the dumpster fire that is social media has been just really good for my mental health and my growth. So just having a different morning routine, obviously again, not directly prep related, but I figure we're just gonna talk about everything that's different. Now, day-to-day life, very different. Obviously, like I talked about before, I used to live at home. My last prep, I was in school, so I was studying still for my exercise science degree, which I finished in 2018. I was working, so I was an assistant coach at the gym that you saw me training at in the earlier clips called Next Level. And then I also did a little bit of client work at the time. I had a very low client load, probably like maybe 5, max 10 clients, probably closer to like the 5 to 7 level. So I would basically train and be done with training and cardio by like around 11. I'd have a very low amount of clients, so I would usually use my mid-afternoon, like late morning, mid-afternoon to knock out clients and homework and like studying and things like that. And then I would have classes from like mid-late afternoon to early evening, and then early evening until around like 9 or 9:30 I would go to Next Level and work, and then I would just come home and like have my last meal and go to bed. Now I get up at around 6:30. I do my whole morning routine. I'll do a little bit of work. I'll go do my gym stuff. I'll come home, and then I will eat, walk the bear, and then I will just like dive headfirst into my work for the day and basically like only come up for water, bathroom, and food. And it's funny because you would think that like just sitting at a computer all day would be less draining than like, oh, like having to walk around campus, having to go to class, having to go to work, all this stuff. But from a mental drain and effort perspective, like running my own businesses is so much harder than what I was doing before. And I think part of that, I was actually talking with my sister about this last night while she was visiting, is the fact that like she and I both, we've always been just very natural students. Like school was never, like, thankfully a hard thing for me. Like it came very naturally. Like I could pay attention in class, I could, you know, study, and I could do well. And like that was it. And like assistant coaching at Next Level was generally pretty fun. And like it was, I was in a position where like I was an assistant coach. So like people were dependent on me, yes, but not to the same capacity that like I am the head and only coach of my business. So like there's a lot more riding on me now, as far as like my career and like how I put food on my table. And that's my primary form of income, not influencing. So it is just a lot more draining, especially in prep when like energy starts to dip, when it's a little bit harder to focus, things like that. That's been a little bit harder. Also just the other like life things, like now I have a pet that I am the sole caregiver for. Like I said before, I'm like the only person that maintains this townhouse, like all that stuff. There's just like, and it's the logical progression of adulthood, right? But like it's just what's different compared to last prep. Like I have more things that are just like life things that I have to manage that are challenges than I did before. So that's been really interesting to navigate. And then some other things that I just jotted down as notes. I think I have a better mindset in this. You know, I think part of spending so much time away from prepping is like this prep, I think about prepping so much less. Like I do everything that I need to do, and I'm very intentional about what I'm doing, but it's not consuming my entire life because it can't. And like a lot of that goes back to the business aspect of things, is I just have like other things that need my full attention. So like I've gotten really good at waffle braining. So like waffles have their little different squares and compartments. So like putting everything where it needs to go and only focusing on work while I'm working, and only focusing on training while I'm training, and only focusing on eating when I'm eating or whatever. And even like food focusedness. I was talking with Alex, my training coach, about this the other day. I've been very not food focused this entire prep. For one, I think part of that's just from taking so much time away from contest dieting. And so like my hunger signals are a lot more balanced, but also I just don't have, and I eat like very nutrient dense foods, so my satiety is better and my overall nutrient balance is better. But I also just don't have the time to be food focused. Like I literally like will make my meal, eat it, and then just like dive back into whatever I'm doing. So I don't have time to like do any of that stuff. And I also don't like follow food accounts really anymore. I just don't care. Like I don't have like don't spend hours scrolling, adding to like food Pinterest boards like I did when I was like 18, those kind of things. So that's been really nice for me because it's just like one more thing to take up mental energy that doesn't really need to, and it feels a lot healthier for me. So that's really awesome. One thing that's great that we are celebrating today, because it started while I was at the gym wearing nude pants. I still have a period. That to me is freaking crazy. I've never still had a cycle in my, I started competing in 2014. So in my almost 6 years of competing, I have never still had a cycle this close to a show. So that's awesome. Jason has done an amazing job just of maintaining hormonal health. He's like a wizard, but that's really cool. Another thing that's great, and part of this is due to just having more muscle tissue, retaining that tissue really well, and having more just carbohydrate around throughout the prep. I can actually store glycogen still. Like, I'll obviously have times where I'm looking pretty flat and deflated and all that stuff, but that's nothing compared to my last season. Like, peak weeks would come around, once it was Derby, junior USAs, junior nationals. Arnold was pretty good. I was still able to hold on to nutrients pretty well at the Arnold. But by the time those last shows came around, especially junior USAs and junior nationals, I would peak on 300 plus grams of carbs, and I could not hold on to it. I would still be flat and stringy. And that was just from being so depleted, from losing a lot of tissue, and just from dieting for so long. So it's just been a lot better and more intentional this time around, and it's just been finessed in a more ideal way, if that makes sense. Everything, just literally, I think the general theme, like all around, is like from the actual like prep aspect of things, not necessarily like my life aspect of things, but like everything surrounding prep is more optimized from a training, nutrition, nutrient timing type perspective. So that's made me a better athlete, and it's made this prep more productive. Another thing that's different obviously is posing. So something that's changed, first of all, is just my posing routine as a whole has changed, but I am a lot denser now than I was before. Like, I look back on old prep stuff and I was just so small. And it is like kind of a, sorry, like I have junk in my throat, kind of a mental game being this much denser than I was, 4 years ago, because I've obviously never been like this. So that's been interesting to navigate just from a mental perspective. But my posing is obviously different just as my physique has changed, and also as the like competitive landscape has changed. Like, you'll hear a lot of judges say, like, do a front pose, do a back pose, do a front pose, and then get off. Give us less to judge you on. So like before, I would have my first front pose was different, and then I would have my back pose, and then my second front pose was different, and like it was all this stuff. So it's like a much more streamlined, simplified routine now. And I also feel like just my aura as I'm posing, if that makes sense, it's a lot, in my opinion, more mature and like sleek versus like the sassy, like, I'm here, I'm in your face, you're gonna see it, that kind of thing that I had when I was younger. I don't know. I'm really digging like my new aura that I have. So that's what I'm thinking. I think that's all my notes. Just, I'm further along in my life. My training's different, my nutrition's different, my posing's different, my body's different. So much is different. And it's really cool to be able to document all that. I don't know. I was thinking about this after I got out the little like trophy cup. There was this group of girls that at the Arnold, when I competed at it 4 years ago, they brought me this little jar because they were inspired by the trophy cup. They brought me this little jar. It's like the Wonder Woman mentality jar, and they wrote a bunch of just really kind and encouraging things on the little notes in there. I still have that too. That one's the room that I was in before is my guest room, and my actual room, I keep the Wonder Woman jar in there. And so like just reflecting back on that, and like some of those girls still follow me. Like I posted it on Instagram a while back, and they're like, oh my God, we got you that. So like they're still around, and like so many of you are still around, and like, oh man, I'm gonna get emotional here. I was not ready for this. So many of you are still around, and you've stuck around through like a lot of change in my life. And I know that I talked before about like being careful about what ammunition I give people and all that stuff. And like, I never want that to come off as like ungrateful or like that I don't care about the people that actually care or any of those things. But like, sometimes I just sit and think, and like, it's really easy for me, at least, to forget that like, I'm doing what I'm doing even as I'm actively doing it, because right now all I see is a camera sitting on top of a bar stool and some books stacked on top of each other. I don't see you, but you see me. And like, that's why I get excited for stuff like the Arnold, where people like come to say hi and like I get to talk with you and everything. But even just like reading like comments and messages and all this stuff, like of just you guys and like how much we've genuinely been through together. And like, I know that if I've been through what I've been through in the last 4 years, you guys have been through a lot in the last 4 years in your own life. And like, we've kind of been through it together in this really weird roundabout way. So I don't know. It's just really cool. And like, honestly, there was a part of me that thought about not documenting this prep whatsoever, because I was like, I genuinely do this for myself. Like, I don't need to do this for it, especially because like my primary career is coaching, which has nothing to do with prep because I don't coach competitors. But I was like, it would be a disservice, and like I think I would have regretted it, but I think it would be a disservice to like all that we've been through together if I didn't. So I know it's different than how it was 4 years ago, but I'm really happy to still have you guys here. The ones of you that are, and like the new people, I'm so excited to have you here. But my ride or dies, man, like we've basically grown up together, because like I started competing and like a lot of you started following me when I was like 18. I'm 24. Like, so we've been through some stuff, and I love y'all. So I'm gonna shut up before I get any more in my feelings, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to see many of you at the Arnold. I will be at my seminar, which is sold out. I'm sorry I don't have any more tickets. Like, I'm not hiding any that I can give you guys. I'm so sorry. But my seminar is on Friday. Then Saturday, I will be at the Legion booth from 1 p.m. to 1 p.m. to 5:30. And then there's also an event at a local supplement store called Bullfrog Nutrition on Thursday night from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. that I will also be at. So hopefully I'll get to see some of you guys at any one of those things. I love you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below, something that you liked from this video. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel. And I love you so much. You matter to this world, and you matter to me. And even if you don't feel like you belong anywhere else, you belong in the Kit Kat family. So I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.